Yeah. Hi all, hope you all are doing great. So we are discussing about the flow of the OOP like static control flow, instance control flow. And in this series, this is my second video about instance control flow. So in the previous video, we have discussed about static control flow. Now we will discuss about instance control flow. So yes, it is like, okay, just wait. Okay, just wait. Okay, this is not the right one. Just a second. Yeah, I got it right one. So we are discussing about instance control flow in this video. Okay. So you might have known about the instance. So what is the instance? So instance we can say like what I can say. We all know like there is a class is something, and for every class if you want to have something real kind of thing, that is called as the instance. Like we have instance variable is there, instance methods are there. So whatever method that is not static we call as the instance method. So yes, so we are going to discuss about the instance control flow. So I will explain this instance control flow with the help of example, and it will be better to understand and to explain also. So I will take a simple kind of thing like I will take a simple class test. Okay, inside this class what I will do, so you might have the idea about the instance, like we have instance variable is there, we have instance methods are there. So coming to this instance methods and variables, and we have instance what I can say block is also there. So all these variables and methods, they are what I can say, they have the what I can say stored in a special memory that is called as the heap. So you might have the idea about the heap memory. So yes, class test, and inside this, like suppose I have taken one variable, not the variable, okay, let's suppose I have taken one variable like int x is equal to 20, and after that I have taken one instance block, and here I have, let's suppose I have called some method m1, and here after that I have printed x. So it is same as static control flows, very minor differences difference is there. And after that, let's suppose there is a method m1 is there, so public void m1 method is there, and inside this method m1 I am doing like printing of just s out of x, and this is all. And after that we have the main method, so main method is there, so public static void main, and inside this main string 3 args of args. Okay, and inside this, let's suppose I have created one object for our class test t is equal to new test. Okay, and what I have done, I have yes, this is what I have done. So in this process, let's suppose, let me call some method, or yeah, no, not required, it is enough. So it is a simple program. With the help of this I will explain you this instance control flow. So what will happen initially, like the static control flow, first of all the instance variables and instance block that will be identified. So first thing is like identification. So identification will be done from top to bottom, like what are the instance kind of things. So it will come from top to bottom, and it will find like, hey, there is a instance variable, and since it is not a static, it will be instance in nature. So this is the first it will identify. It will like x is equal to there, it will not put any value. So it's same like read indirectly, write only state. So if you want to access this variable directly here, it will give some kind of compile time error. So now in this instance block, this is instance block, it will come to know, and it is like, suppose it's the second thing, it will come to know, and after that it's come down, and it will find like, yeah, this method is also instance method. Now coming to down, it will not find any kind of instance. So yes, before this, how this identification will be done. So when we call this method, like first of all, before instance flow, first of all, when we load our class, this static control flow will happen. So all those static variables will be, first of all, variables and block will be identified, and after that identification in the hierarchy, whatever the parent and child classes are there, they will be first of all identified, and after that assignments of static variables and execution of a static block from top to bottom will be happening in parent class, and after that same will happen in the child class, and at last the main method of child class will be called. So let's suppose we haven't taken any, what I can say, any static kind of thing here, just for making the flow easy. So you can consider like object class is there as the parent class, so all those things static will be executed there, and since this is the main method of this will be executed, and in this main method what is there, you can see test t is equal to new test. So what I am doing, new means we are creating object, new operator we use for creating object. So there are various methods for creating object. One operator new is there to create the object. So here inside, after what we have written new of test of, so here we have called the constructor test of, and you all know about the constructor. We define constructor for initialization process. So once we do like this, new test of, so what it will see, like new object is created, and in this process the instance control flow will be started. So how it will be started? First of all, identification will be done. So in the identification process is come to know like this is the instance variable and this is the block and this is the instance method. So this first thing is done. Now after that, in second step, what it will do, it will do the initialization process, same as static. It will do the initialization process. So it will come to know like x is the variable having 20 value. So what it will do in second step, it will be like what we can say assignment and execution of instance block. This will happen in the second step. So this assignment it has done. Now coming to here, it will see like instance block is there and M1 method is called. So control will go from here to here, and here it will see like this is the fourth step, let's suppose. Okay, first, second, and here we have done all those things. So let's take it as fourth step, and it is like fifth step, and coming to this it has called M1, so let it as sixth step. And inside M1 what we have seen, like we have printed x, we have to print x now. So let me write output as here. This is like output, and since x is initialized earlier, so it will print x as what, 20. So 20 will be printed. Now once it will execute it, after this block it will come again to the next line, and here we have what, s out of x. So again it will print x, and since x is initialized earlier, no kind of compile time error will happen. So this is all happening. After that, after all those things will be happened, what will happen, after this all kind of identification and assignment, third thing is like constructor will be called. So here we have not taken any constructor, so default constructor will be added by our compiler. And let's suppose I have added some constructor here, and so we don't have the space now, so I will add it some like here only. So test of, I will add some constructor here, and like I have written like s out of high and high 0 param constructor, high 0 param. So this I have written. So once this all execution, what identification assignment is done and execution of instance block, after that in the end constructor will be called. So here the constructor is what, 0 param constructor will be called, and here if you see what constructor we have, 0 param constructor is there, and inside this 0 param constructor we have like s out statement is there. So it will simply print high 0 param constructor. So this is all about the control flow, and since it is 0 param is here now, so that's why 0 param will be called. So this is about the simple flow. Now what we will do, we will make program some more difficult. So what I will do, I will take it as the parent class. I will consider this as the parent class. So class p test parent, and consider this like class child test. And inside this what I will do, I will take the same again into y is equal to 20, and in this a method m2 I will call instance block, and s out of y I will do, okay, s out of y I will do, and after that I will give definition for m2 method. So it is public void m2, and here I will call like what I can say, s out of y, and after that what I will do, now let's suppose there is also main method, public static. So before main method let me give the constructor. So like child test, this is the constructor, and inside this we have like what, s out of, I will say like child constructor, and after that main method is there. Let's suppose main method is there. So main I will write clearly public static void main, okay, string 3 dot args java 1.5, and here like main method, okay, it's like main method. And in this main method what I will do, I will create the object. I hope it's visible for you, or if it is not visible, I will do one thing. Here I will write the mean method. So public static void mean, and this is the mean of what I can say, mean of child class. So here it is like mean of what is the class name, child test na, child test t1 is equal to new child test of. Okay, so we have called zero parent constructor. So this is the parent class and this is the child class. So now again we will see the flow, how the flow will happen. So there is a certain kind of difference in the flow. In case of a static flow, we go from parent to child like this, but here certain difference is there. So first thing, it will identification will be done, identification of instance variables and blocks right from parent to the child. So it will identify, so how the flow will be going to happen. So let me delete this number, because if this number will be there now. So let me do with this. Okay, yeah, done. Output I need to, okay. So here first of all, identification of what I can say, instance variable will happen and instance block. So first thing, right from parent to child. So first it will find like this is instance variable and this is the instance block, this is the second. Now coming to third, this is also instance, so this is third. Now coming to last thing, like this is also a public static void. Okay, yeah, it's mean, no? Yeah, it's mean, it will not be identified. And coming to next, nothing is there. Yeah, it is constructor. So that constructor will not be, this is the first step, no? So identification of only instance, what? Instance variable and instance block will be happening from parent to the child. So till here, nothing else is there. Now it will come to child class. So here it is instance variable, so this is fourth, and here instance block is there, so this is fifth, and this is the instance method, so this is done. So now after the identification, what it will do, like we have just like x variable is there and we have y variable is there, value is not assigned till now. Now after that step, in second step, what it will do, like earlier what I have seen, what I have told you all, like it will assign the value, but here the assignment will happen. First of all, parent class assignment will happen, and so if you see here x is equal to 20 is there, no? So it will happen like x will be assigned with the value 20, and after that second line is what, this instance block is there, so it will be executed, m1 is called. So once it come to here, it will be like control goes to this m1 method, and inside this we have printed s out of x, and since x is initialized earlier, no compile time error will be happening, and it will print the value of 20. Now control, after this it will execute this what I can say, curly end braces, and it will control goes back again to s out, and it will simply print 20 here. And once it is done, it will see like what it will happen is there is no another instance block is there. So at last what is going to happen, in previous flow we have seen like after this constructor will be called. Now this is the parent child flow. So first of all, identification is done from parent to the child, and after that initialization is done. So in second step, initialization is done. Initialization of what? Initialization of parent class only. So you should take care parent class only. We have not initialized child class. So parent class initialization and all the instance block execution is done. Now in the third step, we have not initialized the child class. We have just initialized the parent class. In the third step, we executes child class constructor, parent class constructor. Sorry, parent class constructor. So parent class constructor will be called. So in the parent class constructor, if you see, we have what, test of high zero param constructor. To high zero param constructor will be called. So this is all about the parent. So all things happen with the parent. Now the thing is, after that comes the assignment in the child class. So this all flow, you know how it will start. It will start only when main is called, no? So before this instance flow, all the static flow will be happen, and after that once we call this method, no, inside main, when we call the child test of t1 is equal to new, from here only this whole flow will be happening. So just I have explained you like static flow in the previous video. So I am just explaining like when we call this method, no, child test is equal to when we create this object, this whole hangama is going to happen. So yes, so once this all thing happen to the parent class, now comes to the child class. So now the initialization in the child class is going to happen. So it is going to, so our numbering is like what? Okay, we have done with numbering. Numbering is like, I hope it's 6. Okay, I have not done numbering, no? So it is like 7 number is this, and after that this is 8 number, and after that we have main is here, we call to main method, so it is 9, and this all goes. So again control come back here, and once it is done, it is done. Now control goes to here, let's suppose constructor, this is done. Now again here comes, so it is 11th number. So yes, now y is equal to 20, it will be initialized in the child class, and after that this is a kind of what I can say instance block is this, so it will be executed. So number, it's a 12 number. So here in this instance block, m2 is called, so the control will directly jump from here to here, and it is what, it is line number 13th step. So s out of y, since y is initialized earlier, so it will give what, 20, and after that what is going to happen, s out of y is again called, control comes back again here, and it's 13 steps, and it is going to print again 20, and after that once this, since there is no any instance block is there, and no any what I can say instance variable is there, so after that the child class constructor will be called. Now the child class constructor will be called, and child class constructor is what, child constructor. So at last child constructor will be called. So this is all about the step. So in case of static control flow, what we have seen, like in the case of static control flow, first we will identify from parent to the child all the static things, and after that we will initialize from parent to the child, and after that we will call the main method of child class. But coming to this instance control flow, what we are going to do, first of all we will identify the instance variables and block right from parent to the child. So first step is same. Now coming to second step in instance control flow, we are going to initialize only the variables which are there in the parent class, and the instance blocks which are there in the parent class, that are going to be executed. And once it is done, it's not going to move to the child class. The constructor of the parent class is going to be called, and once the constructor is called, after that the control goes to child class, and that child class, if you can see, we have like what, the identification of child class instance variables will be done. I know identification is done earlier, the initialization will be done, and after that method, if in block are there, that those blocks will be executed, and at last constructor will be called, child constructor will be called. So you might have seen one thing, like I will explain you, like just give me some second. Like when we write some constructor like test, like let's suppose test is a class, and in this first line, inside a constructor, first line should be like super of or this of. So you might have seen this kind of line, super of. So what this super of means, like when we execute the child class constructor, first of all we will call the parent class constructor. So if you write this line, or if you don't write this line, if you remove this line, you might have seen like when we generate the constructor with the help of Eclipse IDE, this comes automatically like super of. But you know this, if we remove this super of, it's not going to give any kind of error. You know why? Because this super of is executed earlier, like before executing this child class constructor, parent class constructor is already executed. So whatever things which is there in the parent class, variables which we require, that those all things will be identified and initialized, all things will be happening. So this super of is not required. So this is all about the instance control flow. So in the next video I will combine both the static and instance control flow, and then I will write a simple program, and which will be very interesting for you all. Bye all. Hope you all have enjoyed.